What is up, RSL Nation? Welcome back into the Riot, your home for all stories, highlights, and Real Salt Lake action. I'm Mike here with my brother as always, and after a wild night at America First Field, today we're diving into that 4-2 victory over San Diego FC. The match had everything: soccer IQ, some of the most questionable officiating I've seen, and breaking down the beautiful link-up with Luna, Solans, and Guilavogui. And we have questions. Is Sergi Solan the most dangerous man in the MLS right now? We've got to talk about the physical play of Spierings, put in the middle of the park for RSL. And are you still scratching your heads over those San Diego goals? RSL's rolling. The Riot was rocking last night, and we've got a lot to cover. Kevin, let's get into it.
That's Riot.
And it's a dream start for Diego Luna, 1-0 RSL. Into the penalty area, Sergi Solans! It's two! Sergi Solans is rocking and rolling in Sandy, Utah! It's a long-awaited first RSL goal for Morgan Guilavogui!
Kevin, great stuff last night from Real Salt Lake. But before we get into the good stuff, let's talk about the negative. San Diego FC's 2 goals. San Diego's goals weren't exactly earned last night. One was a pinball machine off of Glad's feet, and the other was a questionable whistle in the box. Is this RSL defense actually leaky a little bit, or were they just freak occurrences again? If that's what we're going to continue to call them.
Right. I don't think we're leaky. I think that our defense was pretty amazing last night. The first one, I do think our defense might have been not really caught off guard, but it was a good counterattack at the beginning from San Diego. Defense did catch up to the play, but it just, like you said, it pinballed around a little bit and got to the other guy, and they were able to put it in. But yeah, I don't think we're leaky. I do think that especially that second goal was a freak occurrence, and just we have still been very unlucky with reffing at America First Field.
Unlucky, but I mean we're still fighting through all the crap that's being thrown at us.
Yeah.
I mean we're fighting through the adversity, and we're just doing it. We're living with it, and we're going after it. So what are your feelings on the penalty kick?
Well, I don't feel that it was deserved. I think that it was crap. I don't know. Like, we didn't at the stadium see if they even looked at it with VAR. If they did, it wasn't for very long. Just that whole play. I mean, there was a foul before they even got it into the box. They fouled Yedlin to get the ball. Then Dreyer, he made the contact and he went down really soft, and I don't think it was deserved. I think it was the wrong call, but here we are.
Well, it's just I mean, he's a veteran and he knows how to get in those positions and make it look like he was the victim, and he did just that. The TV, I was watching it last night from the television, and the TV, they did look at the VAR, but they didn't show. They looked at at slow motion and things like that, and they broke it down a little bit. They actually spent more time on that foul in the box than they did on Luna's foul in the box in the first half.
Yeah, like I said, I don't get it. Especially at home, you hear about the home cooking for these home teams, and they get calls and stuff. That's the thing. I don't feel that RSL gets that luxury at home or away. The refs, I feel, just are not ever in RSL's favor.
Yeah, when I was watching alone, and in my mind when that happened, they ended up giving the PK to San Diego. In my mind, it says, "Okay, guys, let's just score 2 more goals. Let's just pile it on. The referees aren't going to give this to us, and it's just, yeah, it was tough. If if that foul on Dreyer was awarded a PK, then the foul on Luna, which was an actual foul on Luna, they kept the play going because we had the advantage, and maybe they didn't give it to us because they gave us the shot on goal. I don't know, but if that's a penalty in this league, how are defenders even supposed to play? How are they supposed to defend?
Yeah, it's frustrating because that just like that you said, you're taking away what defenders can really do. For me, it was a shoulder to shoulder, and just because the other player can make that contact, but
Yeah. Is this Real Salt Lake defense that's currently playing at this form good enough?
yeah, I think they are. On our ride down to the stadium, we were talking about it, and we were looking at the heights of the center backs because I think there's only one under 6 foot. Well, now two with Quinton not playing. I think with Glad and just the game smarts that he has, and the way he runs that back line and the communication those three, and when the wings come back, they just have such great communication, and I do think that this defense is good enough to play and to win anyone in the MLS.
Okay. I think they have some things to clean up, but it's still early yet, and I think they'll get the job done. Speaking of Philip Quinton, we do have an update on his injury. He was supposed to start last night, but couldn't go because he was complaining to trainers about stiffness in his Achilles tendon, right? And
Yep,
that's why
yep.
Yedlin had the emergency start.
Yep.
So he will probably not be an option for us for a little while. Sounds like.
And the crazy thing is, in the post-game interview, Pablo, he was touching on that, and I don't know how many minutes they were going to give Yedlin, but he did say, Yedlin being put in there to start and to put in the time that he did and to play the way that he did. I mean, just props to the sports medicine people on that team, because they were able to get him back healthy and put in a shift like that with not getting eased back into it. So
Yeah,
he had a good game.
He had a good game, and those trainers have been busy this year.
Yes, they have.
Let's talk. We talked a little bit about the defense and how it could or could not improve. Did Pablo do right on the subbing last night?
He even kind of talked about this, and I don't think that he got it wrong. The energy of the players that went in didn't match the energy of the players that were already there. And I think you look at it, and I think this is the first time, though, that we've subbed and our intensity kind of dropped. I think in every other game, it didn't matter who we subbed in and what we did. We always had the same pressure, the same intensity. It just seemed to flow no matter what. But tonight, or last night, was it seemed like the subs were just a little bit, I don't know, I don't think they were off. I don't know, maybe they just felt like because we were up 4-2, they didn't have to play as hard. I really don't know what it was, but I don't think he got it wrong, though.
Or it could be in my little short coaching career, I've always felt that a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead you can have.
Yeah.
Because once they score 1 goal to bring the game into 1 goal, a 1-goal game, then they have all the momentum, and you're trying to chase that and get it, at least level that before they get that second goal.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I think with having the young players come off the bench at this point of the season, because the stars, the actual starters for this club are playing now, maybe they were a little bit tight.
Yeah.
Maybe they're starting to feel a little bit of pressure of the season now that it's up and running, and RSL has some success and they're at the top of the table, and there's a lot of things that seep in.
Yeah, and a couple of those kids just got healthy and they're coming back in
Yeah.
and trying to get minutes, So yeah, I think it's a combination of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So do you think the changes at the sub break helped kill the game? Help finish that game off, or did it invite some unnecessary pressures?
I honestly don't think it really did too much of either. Well, I don't know. We did have Rafa did come up with a couple of huge saves right there at the end.
Yeah.
And props to him. I mean, because he didn't have a whole lot to do that game, and both those goal or saves that he had were pretty amazing because they were pretty close perimeter, and he stood tall. Like
Yeah.
he was able to get it. So
Yeah, one that near post shot was incredible when he got his big old paw up to block that, and then I think the last
mhm.
save that he had in the match was off his face. I mean,
Yeah.
you could see it on the TV when he was walking around after the match. He had this big red kind of circle thing going around his ear and his neck, and on the very side
Yep.
that he saved that. So yeah, props to Rafa. He's
Yeah.
stood up many times this season already.
Yep.
What do you think? And I had a lot of question about this. At least not the move, because Pablo has been pretty he's been pretty good at his trade this year. But Victor Olatunji, did you think he acted enough as a outlet for RSL in this match when he came in?
I think he was the biggest, question mark for the subbing. Not that he shouldn't have come in, but he just seemed off. I don't know. I really think though that
More minutes.
he needs a full he needs a full start. He needs to be out there and kind of build up with the flow of play.
I mean, how can you do that, Kevin? How can you do that when Sergi is having the year he's having so far?
You're right, and I don't think that you can. And Pablo was kind of talking about that also, and he said that he has been talking to Victor because Victor, he wants to play. They all want to
For
play,
sure.
but I do think you can't take out a hot player,
Mm.
and that's what Sergi is. And so Victor has been doing good coming off the bench. I don't know what it was last night. Like I says, I don't know if they just, it was so relaxed on that bench because everything was going right. And it just he didn't seem like the same player that he was the other times that he was subbed in.
Yeah, and maybe he's better moving off the ball instead of playing through. Because
Yeah.
I think a big frame like Olatunji, he needs to be standing up in the middle of the field. The balls need to be coming. I mean, he was playing balls off of his head when he should have been taking them off his chest and dropping them at his feet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that they're not going to be able to move.
Yeah.
And if he does have the ball at the feet, we've got two wings that are just been shooting down the sidelines, the touch lines
Yeah.
over and over and over again so fast. And I just think if he got it off to them, made a looping run, he's going to get the ball back and score. But I don't know. Yeah, to me last night he struggled very mightily, if you ask me. And then of course, Rafael Cabral, huge second half for RSL once again. He shows up when they need him the most, and they were a little bit shaky. And then the last 10 minutes, RSL they pulled things together.
Yeah.
And then they were able to, to finish out the game. But what did you think about Spierings? He brings such a. I didn't think he was going to be this player, but in this match, he brought a massive physical presence last night.
Yeah. He's fun to watch, and I do think that he's going to fit in very well with this club. They were Another thing that they were talking about Pablo in the interview, they brought up the question about him kind of being like Kyle Beckerman, and
Yeah.
Pablo was saying that he could see that, but Beckerman, although he played that physical and everything, but he could pop off those shots, and we've seen Spearing score, but we haven't seen him like take these shots from way out like like Kyle used to do. But he might have it. We don't know. We haven't seen it, but I do love this physical presence that he has, and how he does control that center, and I think he's going to be really fun to watch this season.
I told you in our last episode that I was so excited to see Caliskan and Anelli, play, and I have loved to watch Caliskan and Spierings play because they're almost kind of the same type of player. Caliskan's more probably attacking than Spierings is, but I think with Spierings out there, he won so many balls and he forced San Diego's attack so many times into places where we had more guys defending, and it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch him, I think, come into his own with the team.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what's so fun and great about this double pivot that we play, because you have one of those guys that are, more your defensive front and one that's more offensive, but I think they're so interchangeable that it really doesn't matter who's who,
Yeah.
And the movement, even through Spearings, it wasn't it wasn't choppier, it wasn't anything like that. Like it didn't matter who they were going through, Caliskan or Spearings. It was the movement was still there. It was still nice. The team was just running on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It was kind of fun for me to see what kind of players they are, because Caliskan early in the season, he was more the defensive player on that in the six, at that double six pivot, and you didn't hear much about him. And in this game, it was kind of the same, but it was both Spearings and Caliskan. It rotated between the two. Or Caliskan was up in the attack, helping the attack more, and Spearings stayed back, and then it reversed. But you can see the roles kind of take different. The players take different roles, because like Caliskan, when like Moisa or the likes of Dylan or Ruiz is in, Caliskan stays back more because they're more of
offensive.
Offensive minded.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those options that it just works out perfect for RSL.
Yep.
Let's look at some of the stat totals. We didn't reach 20 shots.
Nope.
But you know what that means?
What does that mean?
We had 9 on target of the 16.
Yep.
Which is way over half.
Yep.
And out of those 9 shots that were on target, we scored 4. We probably should have had 5. Yeah. But we scored 4. And so that makes our goal percentage from shots, I'm not sure what it makes it number math-wise, but that's the highest of the season.
It's just barely under 50%.
Yeah, we were so efficient last night. We could have been more efficient if Solans puts that little breakaway away.
Oh yeah,
and he would have had a hat trick as a rookie. How about that?
It was, I was hoping.
Did you know that kid? Little fast fact about Solans: when he was in Spain growing up, he at a young age, he was a teenager. He suffered an ACL injury. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
I did not know that either, and it dashed all his dreams of playing for some big Spanish club teams. And so he decided to enroll at UCLA in America, and there's the story.
Wow.
Now he's with RSL, and he's He's caught on fire in the MLS.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is
Maybe on the World Cup break, maybe we can do some segments like that. Pull some of these players and kind of dig deep on them.
yeah, for sure.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Some of the high match ratings of the match. Obviously, Sergi got the man of the match with a match rating of 9.40. You can't play much better than that.
No.
Morgan Guilavogui had 8.56. Xavier Govez 8.53. Luna had a 8.4, I believe he did. It was pretty crazy.
They all played really well.
Do you have any stats yourself that you want to bring up before we move on?
I was just kind of looking at the top scorers of the MLS, and with Sergi scoring his 2 last night, puts him at 5 for the season, and that's currently tied for 4th in goal scoring.
Say that one more time.
He is tied for 4th in goals in the MLS. He scored 5 goals so far in this season.
Okay.
And yeah, he's tied for 4th. There's a list. It's early. There's a list of players in 4th place, but he has 5, and I think it's Peter Musa from FC Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He has 9 goals, and Lionel Messi has 7. So he's not real far behind, these guys. So it's kind of fun to have a goal scorer again.
Yeah. So how about this stat too, Kevin? Chances created in the game for RSL. There's 3 players that were tied for 3 chances each. Diego Luna, Sergi Solans, and Xavier Gozo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you need. That's pretty much the 3-headed. I don't want to call it a 3-headed monster. I call it a 4-headed monster because you have to add Morgan into that. He has scored his first goal for RSL last night, and it was a banger. I mean, it was a good goal. So,
and how?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
no.
How about the pass from Sergi on that though? Because Sergi was in the middle of the 18. He could have taken the shot.
Mm-hmm.
But he saw him, and it was the easier shot. So yeah, he passed it off, and it was kind of crazy. Another little on the way down to the stadium, I went with my 2 sons, and Branson. He said that we were talking about in the episode before that I felt that Guilavogui was going to have a breakout game, and not that it was a huge breakout, but he finally did get his goal. But Branson said he thought that there would be 4 goals, or he would want 4 goals, and it was Gozo, Luna, Sergi, and Guilavogui. And he almost had all 4 of them. All we needed was Gozo, and he would have had all 4. So that was pretty good.
Gozo had his hands full that entire night.
Yes, he did. He you didn't see him too much in that offensive third, but he did have did he have 1 or 2 assists? I think it was just 1, but
yeah, I think he did have 1.
It was 1.
But the thing of it is, he made so many things happen. He wasn't the. I think Yedlin had the most tackles won on the game with like 4 or 5, but Gozo was not far behind, and his work rate is, I think, far beyond anybody else in the club.
Yeah, and honestly, that right side of our team is kind of scary when you have Yedlin, Gozo, and Luna lined up right over there. That's a rough way to go down our side of the field.
Well, yeah, but just wait till Sanabria gets back and gets all his visa issues worked out. It's the same on both sides.
On the left, yeah.
With Guilavogui, Sanabria, and who is it?
Engel.
Yeah. I mean, Ingles not involved as much in the attack, but those two, Sanabria and Guilavogui, it's so much speed on both sides. What do you defend? What do you defend?
Yeah, no, it's tough.
And I have to say, Pablo destroyed San Diego's little experiment that they pulled. I can't even remember the guy's name. He played right back for them. Oh my word. Anyway, he actually was a midfielder, and San Diego is so banged up in their defensive line, and plus, what's his name? Who's the center back that got the third red card of the season?
McVeigh.
McVeigh.
I had it last night. McVeigh.
Yeah. I mean, they can't keep guys on the field in their back line, but
No.
they ate that right side of their line up so bad until they made that sub at half.
Yep.
Okay, so we've been talking about Sergi a ton. Is he one of the most lethal attacking players in the MLS?
He has to be one of them. Like, I don't know if he's the most, but he's getting up there. And if he keeps on performing the way he has as of late, clubs are going to have to watch out for him for sure.
They already are. If they aren't, they're dumb. If they're not watching film on this kid, they're making a huge mistake.
Well, and it's not just his feet that he's destroying teams with. I mean, both those goals were from his head.
2 headers.
And yeah, I mean, it's just the kid his skill is just it's amazing. He's such a good pickup.
Yeah, 2 goals on the night. What does he provide that other strikers on this roster don't?
He moves so much, and he's always looking to be in the play to get the ball. I mean, he's hungry.
Yeah. One thing I will say, he's deceptively fast.
Oh yeah.
That first goal he scored. Well, no, it wasn't even the first goal he scored. It was the goal that was it Spierings that played a perfect weighted ball through, and he just ran on, and he just beat the center back like nothing. Like he was standing,
I think so. Yep.
And then he ended up, poking the ball just wide.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if we got center backs in this league that can keep up with them.
Yeah, we may not.
And he finds these holes that I haven't seen any RSL player ever do before. It is absolutely crazy. So let's go to our front three. We had Solans, Guilavogui, and Luna up top. Is this for Real Salt Lake one of the more intelligent front three that the club has had in history?
For sure, without a doubt. I think that this is, you're looking at history being made for RSL. I feel I just the pressure and the movement that these three, and just again the chemistry, it's amazing, and I don't think we've ever seen it.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think the chemistry is amazing, but what I think is truly amazing is how fast it came.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you have to say something for the type of character that's on this team, because every one of these guys on this club, they'll do anything for each other, I think.
Yep.
I mean,
no, I believe it,
because on social media I follow a few of these posts, and they just look like they interviewed these players, and they just look like, and they play these little games, they just look like they have a good time with each other, and they're always asking about what the other guy said before they answer the question, and all this stuff. And I don't know, it's got to be a blast at those practices and in the training rooms and the weight rooms. And
yeah, like you were kind of telling us before we started recording, you know how you were saying, Solans likes to he just likes to have that pressure, or press the opposite team and the defense. And with him and Luna doing what they do and just sprinting after that ball when they get it, I mean, it's just so much fun to watch. And if they keep on doing that, that one or the other or both of them are going to keep on getting goals like Luna did last night. I mean, that goalie had no idea Luna was going to pressure him that hard. I don't think.
No.
I mean, all it does is take a little bit of pressure like that, and the goalie panics, and just like that, we get a little the touch on it, and we get a goal.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was talking up there. San Diego's goalkeeper. He's young. He's one of the best, one of the upcoming goalkeepers. He's so good on his feet. Well, maybe he has been. Not last night. He got shaken up in the first 6 minutes. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And how about Luna? Second home game in a row, scoring in the first 4 minutes.
Crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. Well, if he's making a big U.S. Men's team run, he's showing well so far.
Yes, he is.
I think if they don't take him, they're leaving a lot of creativity at home. That's for sure.
I do too.
Well, Kevin, I think that's going to do it for this episode, unless you have anything else.
No, I think we broke that down pretty good. It was a great game, great win. RSL's on a roll.
All right, last night, Real Salt Lake did exactly what was needed for their first match in 3 in 9 days. Took care of business at home against a brand new rival. I think this is a budding rivalry it's coming up. San Diego came in looking to make a statement to tell everybody that last year wasn't a fluke. I still don't think it was a fluke. I think that team is a good team.
Yep.
But they found that the road to the top of the West this year is going to run through the Claret and Cobalt. The targets on our back are only getting bigger, and the tests are only getting tougher. And Kevin, speaking of tests, the big one's finally here.
Yes, it is, and they're coming. America First Field this Wednesday night. Lionel Messi and Inter Miami are up next. And the Riot is going to be absolutely crazy, absolutely electric. Can RSL serve against the star power from the South, or will Miami prove to be too much?
I'm not going to answer that question, but one thing I do know, Messi, as good as he is, Inter Miami are going to need all 11 players, and Messi's he's going to have to defend against Real Salt Lake. Their attack's too good, and I know Messi takes a lot of plays off because of age, but he does it in a smart way. It's going to be a riot at the stadium, and just remember, keep listening to us on your favorite podcast app. Comment if you agree with us. Comment if you don't. Tell your friends to get on and follow us at IntotheRioT. Stay loud, stay loyal, and stay with us. Into the Riot.
Vamos Real.